loneliness versus being alone versus feeling lonely, the monk's guide to inner peace. There is a difference between being alone, feeling lonely, and loneliness. Often we think they are the same, but they carry different energies, different lessons, and different paths to self-discovery. You see, being alone is a state of physical separation. It's when we are by ourselves, away from others. But this is not a bad thing, it is a gift. In fact, learning to be comfortable alone is the first step toward true inner peace. In the monastery, I spent many days in solitude. No phones, no conversations, just the sound of nature and my breath. At first, it felt uncomfortable, almost as though something was missing. But then I began to see. Being alone allowed me to reconnect with myself, to hear my own thoughts clearly, to understand what was really in my heart. Many of us fear being alone because we associate it with loneliness, but they are not the same. Loneliness comes from a deeper place. It's not about whether you are physically with others. It's a feeling of disconnection, even in a crowded room. Have you ever felt that? Surrounded by people, but still felt empty inside. That is loneliness. It's the absence of connection, not to others, but to yourself. You see, we often look for companionship outside of ourselves, thinking it will fill the void. We rush into relationships, distract ourselves with social media, or fill our calendars with events, hoping these things will ease our loneliness. But real connection begins within. It starts when we sit with ourselves, acknowledge the discomfort, and then move beyond it. Now, let me tell you a story. There was once a traveler who journeyed to a remote mountain to seek wisdom from an old monk. When he arrived, he asked, "Master, I feel so lonely. How can I find someone to complete me?" The old monk smiled and replied, "Why seek someone else to complete you when you are already whole? The more you try to fill your emptiness with others, the more it will grow. Instead, learn to be with yourself, and you will find you are never truly alone." The traveler, puzzled, spent several days in silence. At first, he struggled. He longed for conversation, for distractions. But slowly, he started to feel something new: contentment. He realized that solitude wasn't a curse, but a space for self-reflection, for growth, for peace. Loneliness is not cured by the presence of others, but by the presence of yourself. Being alone is an opportunity, not a punishment. It's a chance to discover who you are, what truly matters to you, and to cultivate a relationship with the one person you will always be with yourself. So the next time you find yourself alone, instead of filling the silence with noise, sit with it. Breathe with it. Ask yourself, what am I really seeking? What can I learn from this moment? Because in the stillness, in the quiet, that is where you will find your true self. And when you know who you are, you will never feel lonely again. Remember, being alone does not mean you are lonely. And feeling lonely does not mean you are alone. The key is learning to embrace both. When you do, you will find peace in the spaces between, and a sense of belonging within. If you're seeking more balance in your life or feeling disconnected, this video will guide you toward deeper self-reflection and inner peace.